nearly every person has been faced with, and it is has something new. I think that the emphasis that is given to sex in our society and the present day mode of dress has led to the committing of adultery probably more than ever has been committed in American history. Certainly, adultery, along with the free use of alcohol, have pulled down a great nation, the great nations of the past. Wine, women, and song have brought down the great nation to some outside conqueror. Rome fell from within because it was honeycombed with sin. Now I'm going to put a break there, if you don't mind, and continue on. I recall a fine looking young man who came to me and said, I've fallen in love with a very beautiful girl. I want her to be mine. I asked him, have you asked her to marry you? Well, not exactly, he said. She's married. I said, you had better give up this notion right now. The young man went on to say, but I want to ask you if I would be wrong for her to get a divorce and for us then to get married. I told her certainly it would be. You'd you've been tempted. And I've been tempted a great deal, but as a child of God, you would never be able to get by with such a sin. I went on to tell him of several instances of couples who thought they would get by with it, but were never happy. This reminds me of a story Mark tells, so I wonder if he took it from this, where that the he talks about a guy came down to the altar and told him that he found a woman that he believed God wanted him to marry. And he pointed over to her, and she was in the congregation standing next to her husband. And he said, well, God didn't show you that woman. It is tragic today uh, when people think they can get by with sin. When lust conceives, it brings forth sin. The only kind of little brat that lust can bring into the world is sin, and sin will bring forth death. Sin will bring forth separation of fellowship with God if you are his child, and will judge you for it unless you judge yourself. That young man left my office after I had tried to put the fear of God in him. He was a wonderful Christian, and he surely had been tempted. He came back a few weeks later and said, Dr. McGee, we have made a decision. I was certainly afraid they had made the wrong one, but he went on. We recognized that in this life we never could be joined together. That's entirely out of the question for us. I'm simply asking God to let us be together someday in heaven. He worked with a very large company, and he told me that he had asked for a transfer to another city. I don't think a month went by before he came to me after the morning church service, shook my hand, and told me goodbye. Temptation, there is a lot of it today. Many Christians say, how the devil tempted me. My friend, temptation uh, cannot conceive until it is joined with the desire of your evil nature. The important thing is that when it is joined, it will bring forth sin, and sin eventually brings forth death. If you're a child of God, it immediately breaks your fellowship with Him, and that is death, by the way. And that concludes that section. Now we're going to move on to the next section.